Doctor.
Who?
It's the Doctor.
Who?
The Doctor.
Who?
Stop it now.
Sorry.
He's been on TV since 1963, and in that time he has regenerated frequently. The guy never visibly ages. He's had 12 different faces, but that's just normal for a Time Lord, apparently. His first incarnation was as William Hartnell, a crotchety chap with the wizardly sparkle. It was so long ago, it was in black and white. You probably never heard of him, but your grandparents might. Next up, he was known as a cosmic hobo, a bit rough around the edges, as you'll see from this photo, played by Patrick Troughton. This version was a bit nicer, and he was the first Doctor to use the sonic screwdriver. Then John Pertwee became the third Doctor, dressing like a kind of vampire prog rock star. His TARDIS was disabled by the Time Lord people, and he had to drive around in a bright yellow motor vehicle. One of the best known Doctors, number 4, Tom Baker, the longest running Doctor. He was a scarf crusader, obsessed with jelly sweets. He had a robot dog, K9. For him, the TARDIS was fixed, so he was back travelling through time. The 5th Doctor had a quite unique accessory. He sported on his left lapel a single stick of celery. This turned purple in practice gas-related jeopardy, but it didn't help him much in the caves of Adrazani, where he succumbed to spectrox toxemia and was forced to regenerate. Actually, that doesn't really work, does it, that line? No relation to Tom, famous for wearing a jacket that looked like it had gone wrong. He fixed the chameleon circuit so the TARDIS could blend in with its surroundings instead of being stuck as the police box thing. Sylvester McCoy came next. He was Doctor number 7. Look at his umbrella handle, it looks like a question mark. In '89 the show got cancelled, which was pretty gloomy, but it was brought back 7 years later as a TV movie. Paul McGann was the man to bring the Doctor back to life in a plot based in San Francisco, 1999. It was another 9 years though before we saw the Doc again, but when we did, it was the start of Doctor Who, the next gen. Christopher Eccleston, a proper northern Doctor, wore a black leather jacket and spoke like a bloke from Salford. He travelled with Billy Piper, whose character was called Rose. He regenerated after just one series of 13 episodes. Doctor number 10, nearly there, David Tennant. Now we're getting to the ones you'll most likely remember. He battled all the big names, Cybermen, Daleks and the Master. Wore a pretty sharp suit, made him look like a hipster headmaster. David then regenerated into Matt Smith, another young Doctor who liked to dress swish, all tweed jackets and bow ties, not unlike Doctor number 2. 3 years he was the Doctor, which then brings us up to present day. Over 50 years later, the longest running television series of its nature. What'll the 12th Doctor be like? Garibaldi? All we know is that he'll look a lot like Peter Capaldi. Obviously there's tons of stuff we don't have time to mention, like how exactly the Doctor is able to travel through time dimensions, and the fact that he's travelled with numerous companions, Susan, Perry, Clara, Jack, to name a few at random. There's also all the stuff about there being a war Doctor who was between the 8th and the 9th but wasn't a Doctor proper. It's all very complex, can't really explain it through song. There's over 50 years of storylines, it'd take far too long.